Coming up in this video today, guys, we have a very difficult narrow removal. This is just Rhys's patient.
This is all me. It's very unusual for me to get a read. We've said this earlier. I said I've got one that's 18 minutes long with a voiceover later on today. He was like, no. He said, I said, I'm sure they were meant to come in to see you because you got all the long ones. So this is a lovely lady. Basically, she's come through feeling really, really blocked up. Her ear canals are super narrow. So the entrance to the canal is super narrow, but the canal itself, not quite so much. And what we've ended up with here is a really, really hardened up piece of wax and skin, basically. And it's the same in both ear canals. I actually had to get Mrs. B to come in and give me a hand to hold the ear canal open because it was only me and Mrs. B here, just to get the last bit out in the second ear canal. So Mrs. B did help with this one, so kudos to Mrs. B for doing that. So I've got one of Neil's tools here in just because I quite like the little pointed Jobson horn. It's quite handy. I like oval Jobson horns anyway, but that extra little point is sometimes just a little bit easier to get behind. But you can see just how narrow this is. I'm having to position, because the wax is all the way to the entrance, I'm having to drop the endoscope right out of the ear canal, which means I'm having to hold it open just using the tool itself until we can get a little bit further in. But look how solid this is in here. No drops at all used in this ear canal. I don't know whether it was attempted and it just didn't get in because the canal was so narrow, or whether it just wasn't attempted whatsoever. But oh my goodness me, this was so tough to do.
Hope you guys have a beverage and some popcorn or a snack.
Yeah, this is going to give you a while, this one, I tell you what. It's got this kind of, it's skin and then this very thick, almost clay-like consistency wax as well, which is just not the easiest thing to use the suction tube on here.
It is plastered in there.
It is. I don't even think something like irrigation would be that effective in here either, for a couple of different reasons. I think the canal is obviously very, very small, which you can do it on small ear canals, but it's not quite so easy. And I think with that mixture of skin in here as well, I think it would have broken down some of the wax, but I think the skin itself it wouldn't have done anything with, so you would have ended up with a very, very tough skin layer in here that just would have stopped a lot of this wax from coming out. And then you've introduced a lot of water into the ear canal, which is going to put a lot of moisture in there, which would have made the view even harder. Even with that, with the very narrow canal, it's hard enough. We don't want to make that even worse.
No, God, how stretchy it is.
It's just there's just no give to it. I'm holding on to it and I'm fighting it every single millimeter of the canal down here to try and get this out. I think the first year it took me almost 35 minutes to clear out. Yeah, it was such a long removal, this one. And that's because I thought, oh great, we're just looking at wax. And then I encounter this thick skin debris as well on the side of the canal there.
Oh, nice easy one. Should come out nice and easy.
Yeah, it's scoop behind that out. That'll pop, no problem at all. That'll come away.
3 hours later, we're still going. still going at it. Brilliant.
So we got, you can see I'm trying to lift this piece of dead skin off the side of the canal there.
You just get the hairs sometimes like anchor it in place.
It's just everything's anchoring this. It just doesn't want to come away at all. I even like trying to get the other side away now, and it's got that thick underlayer of skin is all the way around this canal, and just gripping the canal wall, and then the wax is gripping that skin, and nothing wants to give. Nothing wants to give on here. I know, it's a beastie, absolute beastie, this one.
You do sometimes find that with age, with how narrow the ear canal is, obviously the older you get, the cartilage can get softer in the ear, and it, there's always that risk that your ear will just basically start collapsing in on itself, which, as you can probably imagine, if wax is a problem to start with, it's just going to add to the issue, really. Your ear's not going to clear it out by itself.
I can't quite remember whether this particular patient had actually had wax removal done before, when this was their first time. I want to say they did. I think they did, but it was a long, long time ago. And you can see I have tried to put some olive oil in here, but you can see the effect that has. You can see that almost a blurring to the camera, and that's what's happening now. When you introduce the olive oil, you get this little bit of sort of this blurring effect to the actual camera itself and the visual in there, which is why I'm always reluctant to use olive oil in narrower canals.
Yeah.
Look at that, we've got a grip. And you can see I'm literally wiggling it from side to side.
I can see what you're trying to do.
trying to loosen.
Yeah, come on.
Get off. And trying to come down the canal. But, I get it loosened to a certain degree, and then I get to a point where even the suction tube is struggling with enough grip to pull that skin out.
Yeah, you got a big piece away there.
Yeah.
Just turn the suction all the way up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just a couple, two of them together, and here we go. There you go. We're just starting to loosen now. It's great when it starts to loosen up. We can see that the skin underneath. So as we peel that dead skin away, you can really get to see the fresher pink skin there, if you like, underneath. But this was just an absolute beastie to get out. Oof. A lot more drawing down for this one. Trying to pull from that top right corner and trying to get that dead skin off the left hand side as well in one go.
Ooh, look at that.
That's a good piece. Yeah, there you go.
Keep your grip. Keep your
Yeah,
grip.
that's it. Yeah, don't break. So we're starting to get to that deeper section now of this wax. You can see the lip of dead skin all the way around the outside edge there. I'm trying to pull down from it because I can see this is a big chunk of the top portion. So I'm going to grip and pull just to try and loosen this section up. Look at that. You can see how it's all connected together on that side.
Fair play, but that's a tricky one to do.
That's not an easy one to do. I'd lost all sensation with my fingers by the end of this one. There was just nothing left.
I guarantee this was an appointment at the end of the day as well, wasn't it? Like one of your last ones.
You know what?
Probably.
I think this was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon where you've already done a lot of microsuction by that point. And you think, oh no. Actually, I think we both had the same kind of day because I think you were working down in Cardiff and I was up here.
I remember you saying.
All my wax removals were kind of like this. They were all narrow canals, or they were taking a long time to get out, and lots of skin, lots of debris, or loads of really wet, mushy wax. So you do have days like that where just nothing, it seems to go your way when you're getting the wax removals out.
I just remember messaging saying, I need to go home now, and then you just text back and said, same.
Yeah, so, we just had enough at that point. I think we'd send a little emoji through a little person rocking in a corner. But it is loosening, it is coming away, thank goodness. So it is getting easier to get this out as I've created a little bit more space in here. But these patients that have quite difficult removals like this, we would always recommend regular checkups at least twice a year, usually with how narrow and how tricky it initially. Usually, I always get the tricky ones. You do tend to get. You've had a batch of tricky ones recently. Or you go through phases where you get lots of difficult ones.
Sure, it's the girls on reception. See,
it's the extra money I slip them every single
week. Is it a really difficult removal? Yes, for Taylor.
Taylor Green. But now this is the hard bit now because this is old. It's just mostly skin. It's just hardened. It's deep. It's it's right down in there. So this is the beastie bit to get out. I've got to try and break this somehow. Thing is, you can't really get a tool in there because you haven't got much in the way of an angle, and you don't have the opening to accommodate good angular movement in there. Angled, not angular. Sorry. We can.
I was just going to
see
say
that little gap at the top.
Yeah.
Then it's starting to loosen. That's what I wanted to see, but I'm trying to get just move, come forwards, do something. But when you break it, there's another piece behind. Can you see that?
Yeah. Come on.
You didn't want to see that bit because it was hoping that was the last of it. I'd pull it and there would be nothing behind it.
Drawing out.
Look at it. Absolutely. And what you'll find is with this, like you'll suction a little bit of skin on the left hand side and you're trying to pull the plug and that skin is getting involved and trying to hold it in there and block up the suction as well. Yeah, it's
that is a tricky one.
Yeah. Look at that go. Got more of an edge coming down now. Oh, we received a lovely, at the time of us voicing this, we received a lovely parcel that came through the post from a lovely lady called Kyoko, who sent us some awesome hats. Oh my goodness, we had loads of stuff. We had hats. So we will put those on for a voiceover, just for not for an 18-minute one. We will definitely be putting that on for one of the voiceovers. And we had rulers. We had there was some ear cleaning tools as well, which were absolutely fab to see. And I didn't realise it because Kyoki said that when she went, I think she'd visited home or her mum, and she saw them in a shop in Tokyo, and she picked them up and sent them to us so we could see them. And they look so much like almost like infant scoops that we used to use.
Yeah.
So the infant scoops, they look like those. We'll get those out to have a little look. They're made of wood and they look absolutely fab. But apparently that's a staple in homes in certain parts of Asia and stuff like that, which was really interesting. We got a lovely bag as well, which was fab. Some, did I say rulers?
No.
No, we have some lovely rulers as well. So the hats will make an appearance. They're going to come on for one of the subscribe videos. Look at that.
Oh, there it comes.
Whoosh. That's what was holding everything in. And there's still more in there. I don't understand where it's all coming from. I thought we were going through the other side.
The infinite ear.
The infinite ear canal. So yeah, we'll definitely put those on for you. But so thank you so much for saying those. So we've had great fun in the office trying those hats on. It's been awesome fun. But we will put them on for a voiceover for you guys. But a shorter one. We'll do it for everyone coming up soon. Yeah, so I've almost got it. Now that big, chunky, floppy piece of dead skin that came away, that's the bit that was anchoring everything in place. So now we've got this drier, more sort of brittle and crumblier skin that's coming away now. I'm starting to lose my
You're
voice.
drying up now. I am as well. I'm good.
Hang on a sec. Excuse me.
Not used to doing this long, are we?
No.
Well, with mine we are.
I know. Yeah, it would actually do it. So, this is just starting to lift this bottom section. Don't forget you have the other ear canal to come as well, guys, which is exactly like this one. So you're in for the long haul now. We should have like what they used to do in the old cinemas. When you had like films that were longer than a couple of hours, you'd have an intermission.
No, I've seen a few Star Wars in there, but I can't remember.
I'm going to watch Star Wars on Saturday. I'm taking Theo to watch Star Wars. Return of the Jedi's back in the cinemas here in the UK. I'm a massive Star Wars nerd, and my son has inherited my Star Wars nerdness. Yeah. So yeah, he's taking a lightsaber and everything, so we're going to have a great time. He's totally looking forward to it.
I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which one it was. We went to the midnight showing for the premiere. Yeah. In the cinema. That was interesting. Trying to stay awake until 3 o'clock in the morning watching a film was interesting in the cinema.
They used to do, because what did I go and see in the cinema? This is showing my age. Dances with Wolves was out in the cinema. I think that, from memory serving me correct, that was about 3 hours long. And that, yes, another one of those epidermal cysts on this one as well. Yeah. That's what complicates this one. Sorry, I will go back to Dances with Wolves now. But you can see here, we've got this really thick section of skin. We've got the narrow ear canal, and just to throw something else into the mix, we've also got a cyst right on the outside of the ear canal, so you can't get the tools in very well. There you go.
What is going on?
Don't ever complain that you have hard.
No, I know.
Look at this.
I know.
Dances with Wolves had an intermission, so it comes up in interlude or intermission. I can't remember which one it was. You can go off and you can get your ice cream and
that's interesting.
Poppets, whatever it is you like.
That's pretty cool. Poppets, in the little box.
It's like what was the other thing? It was a bit like Poppets, but it had that horrible coffee flavour in it. Revels. Revels? You used to have like, it was like, one was you'd have like a chocolate covered raisin, toffee covered raisins.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Honeycomb, and some horrible coffee one.
Yeah, I think
it was like
you're
Russian roulette for sweets. You'd be eating them in the dark in the cinema, and you gently squeeze each one and go, okay, that's either a raisin or that's going to be coffee. You're like, coffee. That's gonna be, I didn't throw it over people in front of me, guys. It was just, I just took it out for the thing. So this is just really, really hard. It's just dead skin. Absolute beastie.
But looking at the length of the video, this obviously came out a bit easier than the other side.
It did, yeah. And do you know what? When my heart kind of sunk after I cleared the first one. And obviously I'd already looked in this ear canal, and so that little cyst in there as well.
Just kind of stretching on.
I was like, let's bring it up. There we go. I thought I was in for a right teetering on this one. I got to be honest. But luckily, I did put some olive oil in here, and you can see there's not so much of that dead skin in here. No. There's a higher concentration of wax than skin in this particular plug. But what made it difficult was because it's a little bit harder. The problem I had was when I drew it down the canal, I couldn't get it past the cyst. And that was the issue, because as soon as I took the endoscope out, the canal, as you can see there, collapsed down, and I just could not get this through the cyst, past that cyst. And that's when I had to cut. I looked for anyone. I think you weren't here that day. Yeah. But I did look, see if Claire, who's our hearing care assistant, whether Claire was around to give me a hand as well. but she was with a patient, and the only person available who wasn't doing something was Mrs. B. So I dragged Mrs. B in and said, look, you're going to have to help me. You're going to have to hold the patient's ear canal so I can get out. You're up so I can get out. There, this is the point I got to where...
yeah, I can see.
Can you see it's just it just can't get past that cyst. It just will not go past. You know, I'm turbo wiggling. I'm doing everything here to get it out. Look at that skin is just collapsing down around that. Look at it. As soon as I try and get the grip.
Because you can't get the camera in there now
exactly.
to hold the ear
you can
open.
see that's what I'm trying to do there, is push the camera right in to be able to hold the canal open so I can get this out. And I just can't do it. So Mrs. B had come in, I think it was about now, just so I could get this in. It might be just after this actually. So we got the St. Bart's hook in here now, and I can see we've still got a big chunk of it left.
Beast.
Yes, not an easy one. Not an easy one, buddy. There we go. Oh, a little bit thinner.
Same again.
Yeah.
Stuck there now, catching all the skin.
Yeah, it's just not going anywhere. So we... I think this was actually Neil's version of the St. Bart's. I think this is a Rye hook rather than St. Bart's hook, just because he's got that. But St. Bart's hook is very kind of squared off and oblong at the end, whereas his tapers down to a point, so it's almost like a thicker, bit like a thicker Rosen inserter, but with a 90-degree angle. So yeah, it's handy. And now we've got this very, very deep section here, very dry. Can't quite get the angle of the endoscope to see that top part. You can see I'm trying to grip the end. So I've got the fine end on there again. That is so narrow, that canal.
That's a tricky one, that.
Almost steady there. It's going. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Now this is rock solid. This is like a little stone. And you can see the difficulty I've got here is I can't
get the grip.
I can't get the grip. It's just so full of hair and so dry. I can't get the grip to pull it around. There we are. So this is where Mrs. B came in. I remember this bit now. So this is where Mrs. B came in, just so I could she could hold the canal open, just so I can try and get this Rye hook just behind it here.
Oh, come on.
I know, it just doesn't want to go, but luckily, because she's here now, I can get the suction tube. I'm just going to see if I can pull this top section forwards. It's just wedged.
I bet you did have an actual lie down.
I could do with a lie down after this one, yeah, and a stiff drink I could have done with after this one. I tell you, it was such a tough one to do. And there we go. We just got grip on the bottom. Just going to turn it. Oh, almost. I'm just using the side of the fine end there, almost like a curettage tool.
Yeah.
To pull that forwards. And there we go. Look at that.
Whoa. My goodness.
5 centimeters, 2 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go with that one.
Fair play to you. That was a bit of a beast. That
one an easy one. That's all I can tell you. So guys, thank you very much for sticking through the entire video, even though me and Taylor went off on a couple of tangents in the middle as well. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves.
Take care of your ears.
And take care of one another. And myself and the lovely Mr. TG will see you again real soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.